exciting scenes from today's episode of Liberty's Kids.
It's not about rich men fighting other rich men for more. It's about us.
It's against all privilege. It's against any system where some have unfair advantage over others. Tell the widows and orphans of Boston about the virtues of patience. I have no patience for patience.
January 1776. Dearest Mother, I can't escape the fear of all-out war between the colonies and England. The colonists believe they're fighting for their rights as British subjects. But some feel the only way they can get those rights is to break away from England.
Sarah, you seem troubled.
I'm worried, Dr. Franklin.
About what?
War. I fear this rebellion may get out of hand and lead to something awful.
What could be more awful than the situation we're in now? Our rights trampled by a parliament half a world away.
I wish someone would give me 10 minutes alone with that King George.
That's no way to talk about His Majesty. He's our king.
He's not my king. I'm French.
The whims of royalty have laid the world to ashes. King George is a worthless, brutal man, the crowned savage of Great Britain. Your servant, miss.
Why, bless me, Tom.
You know this individual?
Don't judge a book by its cover, Sarah. James, Henri, Sarah, I'd like you to meet my old protege, Thomas Paine.
Editor of the Pennsylvania Magazine?
If it wasn't for Dr. Franklin's letter of introduction, I'd be rotting in the gutters of London.
You're looking thin, old friend. How long has it been? 2 years? Come dine with us and share your adventures.
A dirty, ragged man who publicly slanders the king. And here we are, breaking bread with him.
The challenge is the elevation of the common man.
I wish he'd start by elevating common table manners.
Mr. Paine, it's a great pleasure to meet you. Your essays against slavery have been an inspiration.
Thank you, good fellow. I'm opposed to all forms of tyranny. You see, our current struggle is not really with England.
I'm happy to hear you say that.
It's against all privilege. It's against any system where some have unfair advantage over others.
I agree. Aristocrats are all wet.
Tom, your passion is stirring, but why aren't you still writing? I read not a word by you in months.
My good doctor, I've done nothing but write. I've been struggling to define this revolution of ours, to explain it in a way that will make it clear to every man, woman, and child. At Benjamin Rush's suggestion, I've called it common sense. It should be on the streets any day now.
May I?
And what conclusions have you reached?
I make the case for total independence from the crown.
Independence? You would cut ties to the king himself?
The sooner, the better.
Tom, while I agree with you, I'm not sure the people are ready for such a radical solution. The majority are still loyal to the king. Their beef is with Parliament.
Ben, the whole idea of a tiny island like England imposing rule over a giant land like this is absurd.
But that's how it's always been.
And people once thought the world was flat. It is my hope common sense will change public opinion.
Tom, in my youth I was hot-headed, but have since learned the virtue of patience.
With all due respect, Doctor, tell the widows and orphans of Boston about the virtues of patience. I have no patience for patience. Thank you for the meal. Good evening.
That man has some temper.
And some pen. Europe and not England is the parent country of America. This new world hath been the asylum for the persecuted lovers of civil and religious liberty from every part of Europe. Hither have they fled, not from the tender embraces of the mother, but from the cruelty of the monster. This is fantastic.
I'll never read that man's pamphlet. It's dangerous. He wants to start a war that will take years to end.
Sarah, Tom is simply putting into words what is already in the hearts of many. He's a good man. However, I concede his temper is a problem.
I'll see that he stays out of trouble.
I'm coming with you.
But you don't even like the man.
I don't. But if Mr. Paine's common sense is going to appear in print, The Gazette should have it.
I thought you weren't going to read it.
I'm not. But we are a newspaper, and common sense is news.
Hey, wait for me!
Moses, we'd better get the press ready. I have a feeling we're going to need extra copies of Common Sense once word gets out.
Where could Paine have gone?
Ooh, I hope home to bed. Which is where I wish I were.
Either you're all cowards or you're all fools.
He must talk in his sleep.
Come on!
Away with you! You're blowing smoke. This is crazy talk. America's not our country. We're Pennsylvania men. This is our country.
You've got a narrow mind for someone with such broad shoulders.
Why should we fight to defend hot-headed foreigners from Massachusetts?
Because unless we fight for each other, we'll all end up slaves to a British master.
The man makes sense.
How does he figure that?
He's not making sense. Why do you hesitate? Has the stink of fish turned your heads to pudding?
Who are you calling a pudding-head?
Time to shut his mouth good.
All right then, come on. I'm not afraid of the lot of you.
Nice shot, James.
Get him! There he goes! Nice him!
We'll show him we will fight, huh?
Come on! This way!
Back here! That way!
What's this? Common sense?
1,000 copies. I hope that's going to be enough. It's 8:30. You'd better open the shop.
Early to bed, early to rise. 1 out of 2 isn't bad.
Quickly, I must have one before you run out too.
Run out of what?
Common sense, of course. Where else am I to find a copy? Wake up, lad. Bradford's is out, so is Hammersby.
Ben Franklin's! This way!
Maybe they have copies.
Hey, what are they doing?
They closed the door.
I thought they had it. They're supposed to be open. What's going on?
Moses, better make that 2,000 copies. If this keeps up, Common Sense will be the best-selling pamphlet in the colonies.
It's dangerous propaganda, and we've helped spread it.
That's not true. You haven't even read it yourself. How do you know it's dangerous?
I know treason when I hear it.
Well, if you aren't interested in this story, you don't have to come along.
What I'm interested in is making sure we get both sides of the story. Not everyone is going to agree with Mr. Paine's ravings. If we're going to gauge the public's response, we need to get the complete picture. That's good journalism. I'll interview that gentleman over there, and you can interview that one.
Come along, Henri. I don't want you wandering off.
No thanks. I think I'll have a lot more fun without you two.
Common sense. More like nonsense. We're all Englishmen. I didn't hear these rebels complaining about the king when he sent his best men here during the French and Indian War.
So, in your opinion, common sense fails to address...
It's rubbish. And I feel the same way even if I had read it.
To me, common sense makes sense. It's like these threads. Alone they are weak, but together they are strong, unbreakable. Each thread adding its own weight to make the whole strong. That is how we must weave this new land, knowing for the first time in human history, we are all of equal value. A friend of yours?
Sometimes.
Well, what did he say?
The tailor thinks Paine is right.
Well, I spoke to a merchant, and he thinks Mr. Paine is wrong.
That's because you only interview rich Tories.
I most certainly do not. We'll stop the next man we see and interview him together. Good day, sir. My fellow journalist and I seek your opinion.
We'd like to know what you think of Common Sense.
I'm for it.
You've read it?
Hasn't everyone?
I've hit the jackpot!
We very much appreciate your views on common sense.
I'm proud to say I'm a successful man by virtue of my own labor. The men who work for me are paid a fair wage. We share mutual respect. But when I travel to England on business, the rich avoid the eyes of the poor. The poor do likewise, fearing the wrath of the wealthy. Whether my sons fare well or poorly in life, I will not have them fear another man's gaze. That's my opinion, and that's common sense.
And that's one more vote for independence.
Henri knows the streets better than we do.